Well, good morning. Welcome to Nonlinear Algebra and Maple Grove Senior High School as a whole. I hope that the first day is treating you all right. I hope your tech issues aren't doing too much or are not too big of a hurdle for you today. My name is Mr. Kadera. I'll be your nonlinear teacher for at least the first trimester this year. That may switch around a little bit, but we try to keep that the same. The purpose of this presentation is just to give you an introduction to the course, an introduction to me, just get a few things ironed out to make sure that we're ready to begin doing actual, math tomorrow. I suppose let's start with me. This is a picture of me without my mask. Here's my face without my mask. You probably won't see my face too much this trimester because I actually only have one section of nonlinear, which means that I'm probably going to steal videos from the nonlinear team. You'll probably see Michael Block or hear his voice much more than mine. So here's my face without a mask, and there's another picture of me without a mask. This is me on a bike. That's been a pretty big part of my life, my whole life. Cycling has. I like to ride off-road on dirt. Other pictures here, I got two dogs and a girlfriend. Here's a greyhound that we adopted. She's very big and very fast. She's not so sure if she's a lap dog right there in that picture, but she tries. Here is a whippet that we have. She's also very small and adorable and fast, and that's when she was a puppy and had just eaten a purple pen, so you can see some purple on her. Here's my girlfriend. She's here at, she has a horse. She runs time at a stable, so she helps out there occasionally. That's after she's planted a fence post, and she seems very proud of that at that time. And me, this is my 11th year teaching. I think it's my 6th year at Maple Grove Senior, but I've also taught at Brooklyn Middle School and Osseo Middle School. I have teaching licenses in math and science, specifically chemistry. So if you ever have a chemistry question or a physics question, I'm at 9th grade math or 9th grade science. I can certainly answer those questions as well if you can't get a hold of your science teacher. This year, I teach one section of nonlinear, one section of geometry, and 3 sections of AP Calculus BC. So I'm a bit busy. I have 3 courses to prep for, and I just know that that's on my docket. What did I do this summer? Well, I did a couple things. My biggest thing was I worked on my basement. I took my whole entire basement apart, chopped holes in the walls, filled them back up, and I made spaces that looked like this. Well, that's even halfway through, so it's actually looking halfway decent right there. Look much more palatable like that. So I renovated a basement. The other thing I did was I started doing a little woodworking. I grabbed this material right here. It's an African hardwood. It's really cool to work with. It kind of looks like lacewood if you've ever seen it. It has a grain pattern kind of like fish scales. Kind of cool. But that is part of what used to be the Velodrome over in Blaine, Minnesota, where there was like a 250-meter banked bicycle racing track made of wood. And it had never been a moneymaker, so they tore it down this summer, and I went over and salvaged a whole bunch of this. And a lot of my time this summer, you can see that every single board has a whole bunch of nails sticking out of it. In fact, more than one per linear foot. So I had to yank a whole bunch of nails, and I've got about 50 hours into prepping boards so far. I'm almost done. I'm pretty much done right now, and I probably will be done by the first day of school. But that's been a major time waster as well. Other than that, I basically just chilled in the summer and hung out with the dogs and my girlfriend. If you need to contact me at any point this year, it's email's the way to go. And once you come into school and meet us in person, if that happens on the 28th, we are in room 160, which is on the first floor, and as you enter the main instructional area, we are on the right-hand hallway, and we are the first family on the right. If you choose to call me, I think I've received one voicemail message last year, but my extension is 50160 after you call the main line. Other than that, a couple resources you should know about. We have a website, Kadera Math. If you just do a Google search for that, or it's linked on Schoology. That will be there, and I have a YouTube channel, same deal. Search one word, Kadera Math, and you'll find that. And then, of course, Schoology. Schoology is going to be our main source of information, but the website's going to be our backup. This is what Schoology looks like this year. Everything is broken down by day. Here's what the website looks like, sort of, except it's got an overlay of the specific classes that I teach. And here's my YouTube channel, what that looks like. The structure of the course, now this is not your stuff, this is BC Calc, but the structure of the course is going to be, we're going to I'm going to have a note guide available for you most days, not all days, but most days. Then you'll watch an instructional video. You'll do some practice. There will be usually a graded assignment up on Schoology, so that you enter that, and we just repeat that cycle every day. That way, that if and when we progress towards hybrid learning in this flipped classroom format, it'll be the easiest barrier to entry as we go along. If you haven't done a lot of flipped learning, hopefully you have, where you have to watch instructional videos, you should know about playback speed so you can change how fast people talk. I wouldn't recommend going faster than 1.5. Hopefully you're doing that right now. And you can pause and play the video as you need to pause and play it. If the instructor says pause the video, do pause the video, work out the problem, and then play it afterwards, because they're probably going to go over that problem. Here's more on the website and what it looks like. The course syllabus is always pinned at the top. We've got this website check-in form. This is your first assignment. It's on your checklist for Schoology today, so you won't forget it. Don't worry, you don't need to write all this down. But that's your first assignment. It's just to fill in this website check-in form saying, hey, I made it. I made it to the website. And that's all I really need you to do. I just need you to know that the website exists. There's a reassessment application, so in the future, if you need that, just know that that's tagged at the top at all times. There's a live teaching schedule, so what days will I be doing live teaching? And there will be some of that. And then anytime that I'm available by Google Meet, I'm going to use the same link. I'm going to try to use the same link all year long. And it's going to be here. And it's going to be on every single document and every single place that I can possibly. So hopefully that's going to be that. Meanwhile, on Schoology, you probably already noticed how it's arranged. Hopefully you can log in and you're not having any issues with that today. If you are, I'm sorry. We'll figure that out. But basically, every week has a folder on the main page, and then within that week, every day of the week has its own folder. Inside of each day, you will find two things for sure, always. One will be the attendance form that you must complete every single day, just like you were going to school. Like you have to show up to school every day. We have to fill out this form every single day, every single class period, just like you have to show up for, like on a normal school day, you'd have to show up in person to every single class every single day. Same deal. The other thing that will always be in there is some sort of checklist to tell you what to do that day. And on this particular day, there are two videos to watch. Here's an assignment, all right, to do. Here's a key to check your work with. And then you will report some of your answers. See that little green puzzle piece? That's always indicating a graded assignment for that day. And then it gives you this note guide to print or view as an optional thing. Instead of taking your own notes from a blank document, you can use our guide right there if you need to. That's basically how Schoology is going to be arranged, and I will do my best to be as thorough as possible without overloading you with resources. Like that's a lot of stuff on one day. I probably want to trim that down when possible. Here's what the attendance form looks like. It's real simple. What's your last name? What's your first name? And what class period do you have with me? That's it. You don't have to enter anything else because it steals that information. The man is watching you a little bit here. It records a timestamp down to the second, and it records your email address that you were signed in with as well. So make sure that you fill out that form every school day by 11:59 p.m. because I report attendance at 7:30 the following morning, and I will only be looking for responses that occurred the previous day. So if it's 12:01 a.m., I won't see it because by the end of the year, this form is going to have a ton of responses in it, and I'm going to filter it by day. I want to see the results from September 15th, for instance, and it will only show me those. So if you did not respond to the form during that day, I will not see your attendance marked as present. Every day. Very important. Make sure you get counted correctly. Okay, let's look at the syllabus. Let's look at some of the details of nonlinear. What is nonlinear? Well, nonlinear, we're going to move on from linear functions where we're dealing with just straight lines and y equals mx plus b equations. We're going to explore more complicated models that allow us to model more interesting things in the world. So we'll be dealing with quadratics, radicals, exponentials. So we'll get into money. We'll get into, just a whole bunch of cool things that go along with a function where the change between each step is not constant. So you'll see a little bit of curve when you graph stuff, and it also makes solving the equations just a little bit tougher. Big thing to know, we are an 80% summative, 20% formative grading scale, just so you know. So tests are worth about 80%, daily work's worth about 20. Materials you need for the course, pretty standard. Going to need a Chromebook, something to write on, something to write with, and the folder may not be such a big deal anymore, but it'll all be on Schoology or the website. And you will need a calculator, like an actual physical calculator that you need to know how to use, because if we meet in person, in fact, we may meet in person. Maybe I put down a bet right now that our first day in person might just be taking a test in person. So that's kind of lame, but it is what it is. The schedule is what it is. The model that we recommend is TI-30X-IIS. It's the little blue one with the solar panel on it. There's a lot of other good ones, but if you want to have exactly what I'm using, that's what I'll be using. And you do not need a graphing calculator for this. You definitely don't. It's way overkill. If you have one, go ahead and use it. No big deal. But you definitely don't need to go out and buy one of those giant calculators this year. Reassessments, when this comes into play, basically you need to do a decent job preparing for the original assessment, figure out what went wrong, fix that, do a couple problems to make sure that you fix that, and then show me your work and reflect upon what you learned and what you're going to expect. On the website, there's a form that walks you through all those steps. It just says, hey, what are you going to reassess? What went wrong? How'd you fix it? What do you expect next? That's basically it. It's a two-sided form that I take quite seriously, and then you have to have a conference with me, and I'll get you on a reassessment. But we'll deal with that when it comes. We're not meeting in person, so truancy and tardies and all that fun stuff is not super important as we transition to in-person learning. At any point, I'll talk about this, but if you're curious, you can always read the syllabus that is posted on the website. All right, let's go back here, and here are your tasks today. No real homework, but you do have to do some things. You should take your own attendance. So that's the first thing in Schoology. So everything's in Schoology. And then you should go visit the Kadera Math website, and then you should fill out this website check-in form. So go to the website, fill out the check-in form. It's meant to be done with a parent. If you can't make that happen, then just fill it out with yourself and show them the syllabus at some point, okay? It's just saying, hey, I read the syllabus. I understand the reassessment policy, so on. Go ahead and visit the Kadera Math YouTube channel, and then just make sure that you got all your stuff that you need to begin learning tomorrow. So have yourself a notebook, maybe clean up your work area, get yourself ready to go for tomorrow. Make sure you have all that stuff. Otherwise, I look forward to talking to you sporadically. Remember, you won't see me very much, but Mr. Block will. You'll see Mr. Block quite a bit. And I will be available through office hours. I forget when, but I'll post those too. And anytime that I'm available, I'll be available through that Google Meet. So even though you won't see or hear me very much from this point forward, just know that I am always available through that Google Meet and through email. And then eventually we'll go to in-person classes, and it'll be much better, hopefully. With that, have a great day.